From time and time again, at least in the last few years, I've heard that people have been saying that they have trust issues with others and so on and so forth. Now, not many people actually talk about the root of the problem with why these trust issues actually exist. They exist due to a lot of other things, and there could be a lot of factors that possibly resulted in the outcome of trust issues. Now, trust issues can result in a number of things. It could result in them being victims of child abandonment. Maybe their father walked out on them, or maybe they've had issues with their parents and they have been abused a lot growing up. And it could result into a lot of other things, such as maybe they've had a history of betrayal and being stabbed in the back by friends or even some family members, and maybe they've experienced this their whole life, which is why they also are so comfortable with just saying, I have trust issues and I don't deal with it. Then that's why they don't know how to deal with things in a proper manner. And they don't know how to deal with things, so, they become control freaks. That's the thing with people with trust issues, they are control freaks. And and this is why when it comes to people with trust issues, not only are they control freaks, but their method of survival is to stab someone in the back or betray other people because that's all that they know how to do. That's their means of survival, and this is why they use that as a defense mechanism. Because they're so worried and so scared of being hurt. They're either scared or they're anxious to avoid being hurt, so they hurt others just so they could feel safe and feel like they're surviving in the world. And they haven't had the proper tools to learn how to deal with these things properly, which is also why people with trust issues can never be trusted. Those people themselves happen to be the least honest people, and they are actually pathological liars. And that's just the bottom line. They usually turn out to be the most abusive, the most disrespectful, and they are the ones who are more likely to stab you in the back than anything else. And this is why, because of the fact that there are a lot of people with trust issues, this is why there's tension when it comes to their families. Well, for not for all people with trust issues, this is why they can't be in a relationship with their significant other, because even when a man is with a good woman, he pushes her away and he takes her for granted. The same thing goes with a girl who is in a relationship with a boyfriend of hers. She's gonna take him for granted and push him away because they don't know how to be in a healthy relationship, so they repeat an unhealthy cycle because that's all they know how to do. That's all that they are familiar with. But here's the thing with people with trust issues that I really would like to get at. They are dishonest. They are not trustworthy. They are not capable of being in a good relationship. Even if there's a good person standing in front of them, that could be a good potential life partner. Even if that partner that they're with is marriage material, they will take them for granted, and they will just do anything in their power to walk all over those kind of people. And if somebody is kind-hearted or kind to or respect or nice to them, they are only going to walk all over them and do everything in their power to dismantle them because they don't know how to appreciate kindness. And I always tell and putting your faith into a person who has trust issues, that's like trusting a schizophrenic to babysit your children. And of course, that wouldn't end well for your kids if you had a person diagnosed with schizophrenia taking care of your children. That's for sure. So with that being said, this is why people with trust issues, they uh they deserve sympathy, but for the most part, these are people you have to stay away from because after a while, you're not going to feel safe being around them. Because of the fact that people who have trust issues are control freaks, they're just going to assume that you are the bad person. And from my experience, people with trust issues are very dishonest. They are complete pathological liars. And 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 they have the audacity to tell you that you can't be trusted, despite the fact that they are two-faced, backstabbing, and traitorous at heart. So, with that being said, this is why people with trust issues are not worthy of being trusted, and it's not worth it to even fall in love with those kind of people. If a person with trust issues goes through therapy and changes his or her ways, then they deserve respect. Then you can say that they can be trusted. Because people with trust issues, they cannot be trusted at all. That's just their way of saying that, you know what, I know what it's like to be hurt. I know what it's like to be betrayed. And they do this almost as if they want to get sympathy points from you. And because of the fact that they're saying this kind of thing, they are, of course, willing to convince you that they could be trusted and they're not going to hurt you no matter what. But the fact of the matter is, that's just an excuse for them to hurt you, just to get what they want, so that they could do this, so that they can do this as a means of not only surviving, not only as a means of survival, but this is their defense mechanism, because that's all that they know how to do, is be paranoid and to make sure that they stay on top, even if it means walking all over somebody else or, killing them in the end. So this is why people with trust issues are not trustworthy at all. And besides, people with trust issues, from my experience, they confided in me about committing infidelity and cheating on their spouses. So once again, people with trust issues can never, ever, ever be trusted. Unless they change their ways and they no longer have trust issues, then you can give them a chance and actually get to know them and see if they can be trusted. See if they are worthy of your trust. Now, this is why I don't trust people who have trust issues. Now, I could understand being guarded. It's okay to be guarded. You can't just trust everybody right off the bat. But what I will say is this: when somebody has trust issues, that's something that requires therapy and something that requires a lot of healing because they are emotionally damaged, and those kind of people have way too much baggage, and it's not worth it being around those kind of people. I hope what I'm saying is actually making sense. Take care.